Here we go. How can you see that?
Irvin.
Wilson's Garden International Meetup 2021 8/8 demo. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm flying blind. So please, at any point, give a shout. Like if I'm talking about something, and you're like, hey, I don't see what you're talking about. Like, say something. Um, so, all right. So I made some slides. So, um, wow. So this feels really weird because like Praveen just did this crazy improv, and then Chuck just played this crazy like thing, and this is what I'm all about. I want to make crazy music, but my demo is super technical. So sorry, we're changing like radical gears here, but
Stop apologizing.
no, but I'm so happy that you guys shared music at the top of the meeting. Like it should always be that way. I hope everyone shares music like every single time. So, um, but this is gonna be a trip down memory lane for certainly for John, Chuck, Steven, maybe Praveen and Daniel. I'm not so sure. I wish Craig was here. He would really appreciate this. Um, and then I have questions. So I'm hoping John, Steven, anyone will fill in some historical gaps. So what I'm going to show you is um, um, Erv spent a lot of time figuring out ways to, well, as he was exploring all of his scale designs, not just one or two, this one, that one, like not just CPS, not just MOS, not just this, not just that, but he was always searching for aesthetics, like musical aesthetics. And there's all kinds of aesthetics. So there are, triads, there are limits like, hey, I want to intervals that are this 11 limit or something like that. And so the search for the filtering of no matter what it is I'm wrestling with, no matter what it is I'm exploring, I'm always looking for useful musical tools, useful musical aesthetical tools at all times. And this must have been while he was designing his scales before like personal computers, before you know things like that. Must have been like a kind of a cognitive burden. Like it must have always been at the back of his mind. Like, hey, if I make a hexany, it better fucking have a triad in it, or else it's useless. You know what I mean? So there's so the context of what I'm going to show you is whatever your aesthetics are, whatever it is you're looking for. If you're looking for things like proportional triads or subcontrary triads, or limits, or anything, any kind of, if there's any musical interval or sets of pitches that you can express in a formula, we now have the computational power to always be looking for those things every single time we do anything. So it's no longer, you don't have to no longer deliberately set aside computation or cognitive power to search for things. You could just sort of always have something looking over your shoulder, looking for things that you love. Like, I'm for the rest of this demo, I'm just going to say triads, but it could be anything else. So I'm going to keep moving. Uh, sorry, dogs. And in context, and this is tied earlier to what Stephen was saying, I'm going to show you, I'm going to demo to you how this works at Mac OS. Um, I'm going to show you how this works in Ableton Live. I'm going to show you Wilsonic 2.0 as a dynamic tuning system, or MTS-ESP. And I'm going to show you how we interactively scroll through scales and search for the aesthetics that we care about. Like whatever it is that we want to see, whatever it is we want to filter, like we're always looking for it. So I'll show you that. I'll demo that for you. So let's back up a little bit. I'm going to cover what triads actually really mean. So Pythagorean means are ancient aesthetics. They were abstract in at first, but um, the things that people use every day in spreadsheets for ordinary things like business are actually very aesthetic things for things like music. So, for example, the arithmetic mean is something that Erv, and I'll show this later, calls a proportional triad. I'm going to skip over the geometric mean, The harmonic mean is something that Erv refers to in many of his papers as the subcontrary triad. But these are ancient aesthetic means. So given two numbers, what are these aesthetic means? So I'm going to give you musical examples of these things, musical applications of these very abstract things. But these things apply to all kinds of things like design, visuals, engineering, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to show you how they apply to music, the way that Erv intended them. So again, this slide deck, and I'll share it, it has links to everything that I'm talking about. So this is, and this is where I'm looking at you, John. So Erv realized that the arithmetic mean, he called a proportional triad, and the harmonic mean, he called a subcontrary triad. And he realized that there are actually formulas to actually go and given, my pitch to you is we have computational power to interactively inspect everything you're doing to find things. At the time that Erv drew this drawing, that was not the case. This is like 1992. So everything was in batch. But this is an example of Erv taking an MOS of some generators and trying to find a generator that satisfied, an MOS that whatever its value was would have a proportional triad and maybe a subcontrary triad or some kind of combination thereof. And so this is like an early drawing of his where he was inspecting MOS. But again, what I want to emphasize is in 1992, there were no interactive tools for this. Computation was not available. And so Erv's like intuition, what he was leveraging like his knowledge of like MOS and how he can analytically understand that and somehow derive or analytically come to a conclusion of, hey, along the way of this MOS, I'm going to have these arithmetic means, these harmonic means. So, so he was just like way ahead of his time. He was, whereas today, what I'm going to show you is you can interactively do it without knowing what you're doing. He had a strategy for doing this, and that's what led me to lead to interactively doing it. So here's a very interesting thing I want to point out. So the ancient Greeks had arithmetic means, and they applied it to everything. So they applied it to architecture, like visual design, proportions of like this pillar to this column, blah. But one thing that Erv knows about psychoacoustics and leverage was that the average like of two pitches, say a root that is like a frequency of 4 and a fifth of like say a frequency of 6 is that the average is 5. So that's a 4, 5, 6. So that's like this beautiful consonant, JI triad. But his point here is if you revoice the triad, it's 4 plus 6 equals 10. So he's showing us that what people think of as an average, which is a very dirty and abused thing, musically is a sum, like a sum tone. So that's amazing. That's an amazing musical thing. And you see this in Erv's work like all over. Erv is constantly exploiting sum and difference tones. And he's exploiting it here in the most ancient, like traditional, the most ancient mathematical tradition. So I keep going here. Now, I never got to meet the Harrisonian resonant triads. This is where I'm like looking at you, John. Like maybe you know him. I never got to meet this guy, but apparently you and Erv worked together, and this guy Harrison helped out with computation back in the good old days when interactive personal computers were hard to come by, didn't exist. So do you remember this like era? Like what are your memories from this time?
The person who worked with Erv is a guy who lived in LA, and it was Larry Hansen, not Harrison.
Well, yeah. so but he said Harrisonian here.
I know that's confused me because Lou Harrison wrote a lot of JI music, but he didn't really go into the mathematical details that Erv did. But Larry Hansen was an engineer. He knew quite a bit of math.
All right.
I
So
met him once or twice. Then he died, actually. But he was kind of an unpleasant person to work with, actually. But he and Erv got along all right.
So
I've never seen this sheet before.
fascinating. Well, this is in Craig Grady's archive. So okay, good. That's a note.
He's writing to you, right, John? Or maybe he never sent it.
Well, I don't recall seeing it, but
there were things he never sent. I came across letters of his that were never sent.
Also, I moved around a lot, so it might not have ever reached me. I remember going back to Seattle, and a girlfriend of mine handed me a whole pile of mail that had just accumulated, and she'd saved for me and never sent it on. You know, it was,
oh my God.
Yeah, I do that today with my inbox. You know, my digital. So, John, so I'm sorry I sprung this on you without, like, giving you, any kind of advance warning. I'm just cropping papers that I have.
No, this is really very interesting.
Yeah, I'll follow up with you, and I'll clarify if this is the right Hansen or Harrison.
I was going to say something. If you notice in my book, I list a whole series of other means that the Greeks recognized. I mean, these three
right.
Out of about 10.
So, you know what? We're going to have the same demo again, and we'll focus on that because Craig was saying the geometric mean, which I can search for any mean, all the means, all the time, doesn't matter, including yours. And I actually, John, I wanted to mention to you, like, I've been thinking about your work and wanted to include those means. I'm very specifically tonight just covering some specific papers, but it could include all kinds of aesthetic things. And for example, like tonight I'm saying, proportional triads, subcontrary triads, but it can be like, there's all kinds of filters. Like the point here is, if I'm computing a field of pitches, and what do I want to filter on? Like, do I want to filter on limits, like 5 limit, 7 limit, 11 limit? Do I want to filter on triads? Do I want to filter on subcontrary triads? Do I want to filter on geometric triads? Like, what do I as a musician want to do? So me, Marcus, what I want to do is give you whatever tool you want to, like, no matter what thing you're exploring, it's telling you, hey man, whoa, there's that thing you care about, it's there. Hey, there's that triad you care about, it's there. And I'm starting with these specific papers because they're very concrete and very easy to implement. But I really encourage everyone to, like, open their minds about, like, what are the things that you look for?
How are you implementing that? For example, I was playing with Wilsonic this morning, and I stumbled on a generator that gave me a 10-9, a 9-8, and 11-8. Those are three intervals I wanted, right? And it was a beautiful sounding 12-tone scale, but I stumbled on it, So is there a way in your software to say, I'm looking for a scale that has this, and this, and a bunch of proportional triads? Go. I mean, Marcus, would you do that through some sort of retrieval specs, or would you?
Well, okay. That is an amazing example of a use case. So what I'm going to show you tonight is a way to interactively look for things. And actually, I can think of a way to get what you're looking for a little bit, but we should collaborate, because there might be ways for me to make it easy for you to find but what you expressed is exactly the kind of aesthetics that I'm talking about. So what I'm showing you is, here's an example of finding a very specific aesthetic that Erv wrote about. But what you're talking about is your own personal aesthetic. I want to do what you want to do. So I just need to understand how you want to express it. So let's come back to that. Let me keep going here, and then we'll come back to exactly what you said. So
that's a UI thing.
Well, yeah, but the bottom line here, I mean, the headline here is, we have the computational power to search for what we want while we're exploring things, and we don't have to think about it. Like it could just be there in the background, looking for things that we. So while you're exploring any scale, you can find these things, and I'm going to actually demonstrate that to you. But with the example of these triads, let's just pretend like that's what you want. So, okay, so you guys can see my mouse, right? I'm circling around like this paper over here on the side. You guys can see that, right? Okay, so what Erv did was he knew that he was very intimately familiar with Brun, you know, moments of symmetry, and he was very familiar with the first 5 degrees of it, and so he did this little exercise here, very complicated. I'm not going to go through it line by line, but where he tediously went through every degree from generator 0 to generator 0.5, and he searched along the way for proportional triads and subcontrary triads, and he calls them out line by line here. So this is a crazy paper. It's a very dense paper. This is the kind of thing Erv would just drop on you and not even tell you why or how.
Yeah.
And it takes you decades to figure out. Like I'm like, he dropped this on me when I was like 25, and then I'm 51, and I'm now like coming back to it. Like what? So that's the kind of guy he was, and this is the kind of group we are, right? Like we just drop shit. So okay, all right, next slide. All right, so what I'm going to show you, and I'm warming you up, I'm showing you screen grabs before I show you the demo, is he, from that previous slide, he would pick like a row, like a row from 0 to 0.5, and he would pick one, and this is a very famous generator, right? So this is log 2 of 420. So this is generating fourth, and he calls it meta mean tone. But this is sort of the opposite of 12ET. It's sort of a mean tone, sort of a well-tempered fourth. But here's the thing: it has these crazy proportional and subcontrary triads in it, and he did this on purpose. He chose this generator so that it would have both proportional triads and subcontrary triads. And I'll show you how he did that. So I'm zooming in here so you can see now. If you were on a keyboard and 60 is middle C, if you were to play, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, if you were to play D sharp, E, F, F sharp, that would be the 63, 65, 66. This is MIDI note numbers. That would be a proportional triad. And the subcontrary triad would be the 62, 63, 65. Now I found this interactively by implementing what he was doing here, this math, and I'm going to show you that. And I'll also play this musically so you can actually hear what this sounds like. I'm jumping ahead a little bit. You can do this for different levels of, you can do this for any scale, period. What I just showed you, going back here, was a generator of 420 for 5 notes per octave. But you can search for any aesthetics at any time. So I'm also searching here at 7 notes per octave. So 5 shows these triads, 7 shows these, and I'm sorry I didn't zoom in. Did I zoom in? Yeah, I zoomed in here. So it doesn't matter what scale you show me. I will analyze it and I will show you the triads. So that's what we're doing here. Okay. And then again, this is very paper heavy. I'm going to get to the musical examples in a second. This is a famous one, and I love this one. This is his Callum Johnson's bagpipe scale. So it's actually, I actually play it like a 7-tone scale, but he defines it. He found the triads by doing it as a 17-tone scale, and you can actually see all the triads here on the bottom. It's very dense, and I apologize for that. And then finally, my favorite scale of all time, 238186 is a 9-tone scale, and you can see here, the green triads here down here are the proportional triads, and the magenta, the red ones, are the subcontraries. I'm going to play you musical examples here. So, okay, So let's play some music. Not as good as you guys, but here we go. So you guys, can you guys see you can see Ableton Live, right? Right.
Yeah.
Can you hear this? No? Yeah, no. Can you hear
No.
something? You can't
No.
hear anything. All right, hold on. Sorry. Share sound. Share. Can you? Yes. No. Can't hear anything. What the fuck? Whoa.
Hear your dog.
Give me a second.
Yeah.
Oh,
hearing
I
the
see.
mic.
I see why. Here we go. Here we go. Watch. It's gonna work.
Zoom audio device. There we go.
But can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. Fine. Okay. Fine. Okay. So this is 292-787. So this is the Callum bagpipe paper. This guy. So these proportional triads, Erv actually figured out analytically with his buddy, and I will play them here. So what I'm going to do is just play a sequence of what these actually sound like. So this is, I'm just playing a proportional, subcontrary triad and a proportional triad. So I'm just flipping back and forth between two triads, and it's these two. So it's note 61, 64, 66, and 61, 63, 66. So I'm basically taking a root and a fifth, and I'm just alternating between the minor third and the major third. That's all that's happening here. But keep in mind, like, I can't tell you how many times in my life, people say to me, only pure low order rational numbers make beautiful intervals, like difference tones. This is fucking 292-787, dude. Like this is not a rational number. Like this is like a weird ass number, and I wish I could show it to you. I could do it later in a different demo, but it's the proportions that are beautiful, right? So it's not the root and fifth ratio that's beautiful. It's the root, third, fifth together that's beautiful. And that's what's amazing about Brun. That's why that continuum is so beautiful. And that's why when people say to me like, oh man, I only do 5 limit. Oh, I only do 11. I'm just laughing. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, no, it's the relationships that what make it beautiful, not the absolute values. Like it's not. And I have a million examples. I go all night. So here, we'll go to the next set of triads. This is a minor. This is a major. Again, this is a generator 292. This is a 10 note scale. And I'm alternating between a minor and a major triad. And this is a proportional and subcontrary triad of a Brun thing. Okay, and I'll go to the third one. See, there's a little woof action going on there. So that's just one generator, 292, and more. I can go on forever. I'm going to do one last one, and I'll stop. For 238 is for some reason like my favorite. I don't know why. It just, I don't know how he found this one. It was so weird. It's just gorgeous. Come on, what's going on? Let's go. Oh, give me a second. I have not reached a point where I can actually pull up the file with everything all set. So I have to do that. What? All right, here we go. So you see this, right? You see this? And that's the major, and then I have these this is so not JI, but this is so major minor. Like it's amazing. This is not JI. It's as far away
it's
from
better.
JI.
It's better than.
Far. It's so far away. All right.
I love it.
There's another one. Another triad in here, or major minor. And then here's another one. Oh, this one. Okay. Fast forward. I'm gonna wave my hands. Listen to that. That's crazy.
There's a seventh difference to them.
Okay. Last thing I'm going to show you, and I'll stop, is the interactive part. So I feel like for screen sharing reasons, I'm going to stop this. I'm going to start all over. And you're not going to be able to hear this, but I just want the best graphics possible. So I'm just going to do this. So, all right, last thing. So bear with me. Share sound, blah. Okay. So can you see this?
Yeah.
Wow. Can you hear this? No? Can you hear that? No? Okay, hold on. Why is this so difficult? What the fuck? All right, whatever. Okay, it doesn't matter. Here. I will share one last time. You don't have to hear this. I'll now prove the point. Sorry, guys. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the cool part. So y'all can see this, right? Whoa. So you can see my mouse. You can see these keys here, right? Right. Here is the cool part. So as I move through the continuum, whoa, there's another one. What's that? 2, 3, 1. As I move through the, you can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Whoa. There's one.
They just show up. They show up on the keyboard below.
They show up whenever
you
stumble upon.
Oh, I love that.
There's another one.
Yeah.
I love that.
Doesn't
That's
matter.
fucking great.
And there's another one. There's another one.
Wow.
And I've checked all the math, so I promise you that this all works.
God, this is great.
Yeah. Oh, here's another one. Wait. The problem is, like, it's so fine tuned. Like these generators.
You have to move really slowly.
Sensitive. Yeah.
Can you make it so that instead of doing it with the mouse, you can do it with the scroll keys?
There you go. There's
left, right,
right there.
Wow.
Yeah, I need to do some kind of ding, ding, ding.
So you can go frame by frame, kind of, Oh, okay. There's.
And then you notice all these cool patterns, right? Like, so there's 60 and 63 and 64, but here's the inverse, right?
Yeah.
But, right? Like, sorry, no, I don't mean to do that. And then this guy here, like 62, 65, 64, that's the inverse of 63, 64, blah, blah, blah. So all the constant structures are all, you can see them. They're all happening here. They're all respected. It's not like a weird thing going on. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, now, so this is Brun. You can see all crazy shit going on. Blah, blah, blah. That's fine. Okay, but check this out. Now I will prove it to you through very basic, ordinary scale. So this is a dyad. There are no triads, so you're not going to see anything. This is a subharmonic dyad. There are no triads. You're not going to see anything. Oh, but wait. Here's a harmonic, like dyad and stuff. No, not going to see anything. So when do you first start seeing things? Here's a harmonic series, and there you go. And then here's the subharmonic. So here you go. There's some revoicing duplication going on. I have to look at that. I have to figure that out. But here's the two together, and sure enough, there you go. Dude, that is harmonic, subharmonic series of triad together combined. And there you go. There are all the triads in subharmonic and harmonic in there. Boom.
Now, are there some real wild exotic ones that are that are proportional triads, but not necessarily? They might sound more like clusters, but you know, like you get up into some of the higher numbers, or
You know what? I will I will blast through shit here. Sorry, this part is not up to date when I blast, but I'll just blast through a bunch of scales. Just look at this pitch wheel and look at the keys and watch what happens when I go. I'm just going to survey a shitload of scales, dude. Like, no matter what I pull up, it analyzes
there's
it.
stuff
and
there.
It can just
Wow, look
tell.
at that one. Yeah.
Right. This is
Wow.
that was harmonic series. Like, this is a harmonic series, right? So boom, you have a shitload of major scales.
Yeah.
Right. And then
Wow.
right. And then the next one is the right. There's just yeah. Anyways. I'm not doing a good job telling you like what these are all about. Here's Wilson's Hexany 1357. Fucking basic shit, right? Here you go.
They are, right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
And then here's
That's wonderful.
And here's a subharmonic.
Yeah.
Blah. So, and
Right.
it doesn't matter what you pull up. It just fucking
There's
searches.
there. It just
And
finds it.
it doesn't matter if it's octave based or not. It just searches through the spectrum of
Wow, that's
tones
great.
that you said.
Wow, that
Right
is
now,
great.
most of my scales are very biased towards octave repeating. You know, so you're going to see that a lot. But
you can
it's
set
gonna
the
ask the same.
interval of equivalence to anything, right? And it'll
Yeah.
tell you.
So
Wow,
I have
that.
some, yeah, I mean, I'm cheating a little bit. This is where we get in the weeds, and I don't know how far you guys want to go tonight, but like, if you go to, you have to set limits for what your definition of a triad is, right? So for me, I'm saying if the major triad is bigger than a 9/8 and it's less than a 4/3, then yeah, let's show it. And I'm saying the same thing for the minor. If you guys have a better definition of a range of intervals to say, yeah, that's a proportional triad, yeah, it's a subcontrary triad, then I could sub that in there, and it would just change. But again, don't limit yourself to major minor triads. Like, the point is what's your definition of coolness? Like, you know, are you looking for tons of 11s? Are you looking for tons of this and that? Like, whatever you want, you can just drop that in here, and it's just going to show up on the keyboard. You know, so anyways, that's the demo. That's the point. So,
but yeah, so but those triads don't necessarily have to be. I mean, right now the way you have it is there really are more triadic sounding as opposed to clusters, like say a proportional triad, like, I don't know, 37, 39, 41.
Sure. And I struggle with that. When I had no limitations, I just said any range of numbers plus the average, you get everything. You get infinity, right? So, so for this demo, I just said, hey, a triad is like the triad interval itself from the root has got to be between a second and a fourth. Just let it go anywhere between there, but it could be anything. So, for example, a root and a third and an octave, that's a proportional triad, right?
Right.
That's not what I think of a triad is, right? But technically it meets that mathematical definition, right? So we as musicians just need to define, like, what are the aesthetics that we're looking for?
Right.
And what I like about this definition is you saw tonight a ton of, what I love is clusters of, like, here's major and minor. The root and the fifth are the same, and I'm hopping back and forth between the minor and the major third. And then there's another cluster over here where I do the same thing. It's so musically useful, right? It's beautiful. Like, you already do that in 12 ET, right? Like, it's a beautiful intuitive notion, you know.
Yeah.
So what are your other intuitive notions? You know, like, let's put them in here. So yeah. Anyways.
Like I say, it's always nice to have to get our triads back without having to go to the 19th century to get them.
But computationally, this stuff that I'm showing you is just fucking trivial. It's a joke. Like, just you should just always be searching through everything in real time for what you want while you're exploring. Like, it should just show up. Right? You know what I mean? Like, it's just,
Yeah, well, Marcus, this is a real gift what you've done here, because it's kind of like you've provided a bunch of fishing lures. Depending on what you're fishing for, use this one, use that one.
yeah.
The things that before you would just have to kind of throw a net in the water and get what you get.
Sparkly
And
toy.
this is remarkable.
Yeah.
So I take my hat off to you. I don't have a hat, but I will. I think this is phenomenal, and can't wait to see what everybody does with it.
To that. Yeah.
Anyway, I got to jump off because I got stuff to turn in tomorrow. But I'm so glad I stuck around for your demo and got to hear everybody's great music. So,
What a night, dude. Praveen,
wonderful.
That was
night.
awesome. Chuck, that was awesome. I'm glad I got to share a little bit. Dude, what a night. I'm so bummed like there weren't more folks here. So
Yeah.
okay, but I'll share a little recording and hopefully.
So Marcus, is your app available as a standalone from my iMac?
No, that's what me and Steven were talking about. Like, I haven't figured that part out. I know how to release an iOS app. I don't know how to package a Mac app. And I don't know how to make it a plugin. And I don't know how to make it work with Digital Performer. And I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to make the app work, and then the whole distribution. And
So at this point, the only thing it works on is an iPhone. Is that it?
no, right now it works on a Mac OS computer with Ableton Live with Max for Live. If you have all those things, it works.
Okay.
But Steven likes Digital Performer because he's old school. So that's a new thing for us. But Subrog's software does not work for Steven either.
They're terrible
on Digital Performer. So there's some challenges there. We're doing crazy things. So
yeah, this is pushing the envelope.
Again, the reason why we're taking this risk, the reason why this is so hard is because what we really want to do is we want you all to use your favorite software synthesizers where we're not allowed to integrate with them. We're not allowed to retune them. We don't have access to the source code. We can't change them. But if they obey the MPE standard, then you could retune them with our software. So that's the reason why we're doing this. The risk is maybe there's a software synth that doesn't listen to us. Maybe there's a DAW that doesn't play nice with us. But the reward is, like for Ableton Live, for example, fuck, dude, you got dozens of software synthesizers. The manufacturers don't know who Marcus Hobbs is. They don't know. They just know they want MPE because they like these Lumi keys. I mean, they like these things. And as long as they play nice with Lumi and Rolly, then they play nice with microtonality. And that's actually huge. That's actually a huge market. So that's better than me making some Uber iOS synth, which I did for the last 10 years. That investment for the last 10 years is not going to pay off in the next 10 years. So I have to change strategies. I have to put my time in a place that's going to pay off, like musically, for real musicians.
If I have Ableton, it would be able to run on Ableton for me via Max for Live.
Yeah, you have to have Max for Live. So, going out in the weeds a little bit, my plugin broadcasts a tuning table, and Max for Live will listen to it, and as a MIDI effect, it will, if you put it as a MIDI effect track, talk to your software synthesizers, like Vital, Wavetable, like pick a software synth that respect MPE. It will tell them, hey, here are all the MIDI coming in. You have a one note per 16 channels. There's a pitch bend per channel, and there's a tuning table and blah. So if you have Ableton Live and you pay for Max for Live, then you'll be able to do what I just showed you.
And you have it working now for that, huh?
Yeah, what I just showed you the demo.
Oh,
live.
yeah. Cool.
What I showed you was live. What we're struggling with for Steven is how does that work with Digital Performer?
Also in live, I wasn't able to get like Piano Tech to change the scales on the fly.
And that was weird because
I don't know why that
Piano
would be
Tech
the
is actually, by the way, just want to hype Piano Tech. I love pianos. I love pianos. And I've heard every single piano plugin on the planet. Like, and a lot of them are sample based, and they never work with microtonality. They sound like fucking shit.
Yeah.
But piano tech is more of a reverse, like it synthesizes the overtones based on the pitch in a way where
Acoustic modeling rather than sample.
Yes, there you go. And I love it. It sounds so fucking good. So we got to get that working for you.
Yeah.
That's my go-to synth. That's my like my fucking tune-up synth.
Yeah.
Is it working? Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
All right. So you got to
look,
drop.
I'll sign off. Yeah, I got stuff to turn in tomorrow, but I will. Let's get together over Zoom maybe next weekend.
Okay.
And
Sounds good.
continue. Thanks again, Marcus. Great seeing
Yeah.
everybody.
Thanks everyone.
Okay, see you soon.
Yeah, I'm gonna sign off too.
Cool.
So,
All right. Hey, it was such a
till the-
pleasure
till
hanging
next
out with
time.
everyone. Yeah,
And,
John, it was great seeing you, man.
I'm trying to rewrite a paper I wrote 30 years ago and has a mathematical error in it.